What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been seeing a lot of people online a little bit worried about Arc Raiders and how it's going to survive in the landscape of extraction shooters. But I want to put this video together today to just kind of share my personal opinion on why I think Arc Raiders is going to absolutely pop off and why it's going to be able to thrive and maybe even thrive better than some of the other free-to-play alternatives out there. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before going dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and also a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We go ahead and discuss all different types of variety between FPS games, third-person shooter games, I even go ahead and discuss Skate. I kind of want to discuss GTA, maybe some racing games, who knows? Basically, everything is on this channel, so if you guys are interested, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do go ahead and stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested in any of that content, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I saw a post over on Reddit, and it wasn't only this specific individual, I see it all over the friggin' place, whether it's on Twitter, Reddit, so on and so forth. But again, I just handpicked this specific post so I can showcase it to you guys and then give my personal opinion. But this is by Peculiar Pete, saying, really curious if a game this good can overcome being a pay-to-play extraction shooter in this climate. Basically, the moral of the story is a lot of people are stressed and worried that Arc Raiders will not be able to thrive because A, there's already a lot of established franchises already in the scene, and B, there's free-to-play alternatives as well that you don't have to cough up any money for whatsoever. Of course, when it comes to console, they haven't really experienced too many extraction shooters. All they really have is DMZ and, of course, Hunt Showdown. DMZ we don't really consider, and for me personally, I don't really consider that a real extraction shooter. And then, of course, Hunt Showdown, yeah, it is an extraction shooter, but it has its own twist. And the developers did a really good job at making sure that they, didn't just copy and paste what a typical extraction shooter is. But still, comparing it to something like Escape from Tarkov, Arena Breakout, it doesn't really give you the vibes, the complete extraction shooter vibes that you are looking for. So console doesn't really have any, on the platform. And then, of course, the first one being Arc Raiders here for 40 beans. Will people be willing to cough up the cash to actually try it out? And then for PC players, as I stated before, they have Escape from Tarkov that they have been invested into for years. And Escape from Tarkov is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. That is a game that requires a lot of your time, a lot of hard work and effort. And, it takes hours and hours and hours and hours to go ahead and master. So will people be willing to actually put that down and cough up $40 extra to give Arc Raiders a try? And also, again, you have Arena Breakout. So, during a time where people are a little low on cash and they have to pick and choose what games they want to go ahead and play, they have another alternative right there that is completely free to play. They don't have to put a cent into it, and then they can hyper prioritize their cash on other games that might pique their interest for the end of this year. So trust me, I definitely see where everybody's coming from when they're a little bit concerned about the health of Arc Raiders and if they will be able to thrive. But first and foremost, let me talk about the PC crowd, because again, extraction shooters have really popped off on PC. And, I think that this will be a little bit harder to push towards this audience because, again, as I stated, they already have an established audience when it comes to Escape from Tarkov. Will they be able to bounce away? And also, they have tons of other free-to-play alternatives. But I think it's going to do phenomenal. Seriously, Arc Raiders, just like what I said with Hunt Showdown, Arc Raiders did a phenomenal job at shaking up the extraction shooter world, genre, changing it up a little bit, putting their own unique twist on it. But at the same time, it's not so unique like Hunt Showdown, where it kind of takes away the core fundamentals of what you want to do in an extraction shooter. Go in, find some loot, get into some fun, engaging PvP, or even, maybe interacting with others and teaming up with them, so on and so forth. Hunt Showdown changed that up a lot, but with Arc Raiders, all of it's still relevant with their own twist. It's high quality, and also on top of that, it's very casual friendly. Pretty much all of the extraction shooters, when it comes to PC right now, are so frickin' just hard to get into. Trying to get someone to learn Escape from Tarkov is rough, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, to find out an extraction point for a map, you have to go on Google and look it up yourself and find a map and actually figure out how to work around the map. It's not like you could just hit M and then a map pops up and you could see all the extraction points and all the, the locations that you need to go to and the hot zones and what's happening. No, that's not the case with Escape from Tarkov. It is a hardcore extraction shooter. Arc Raiders, on the other hand, is very, very casual. Not saying that in a bad way either, because I know a lot of people are going to hear that and say, oh, well, if it's extremely casual, that means it's going to be boring and, pointless. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying entry level, being able to get nice, convenient, free loadouts, and having a map so you can see where you want to go and what has to be done. Having a little bit of a third-person angle perspective so people can actually take their time and be a bit more patient. They don't have to worry about people, aggroing them if they're very good at first-person shooters, so they have a little bit more leniency. There's a lot of things that are allowing Arc Raiders to, expand to the casual audience, having it be a little bit more PvE focused instead of just strictly being PvP. Although, of course, a lot of these extraction shooters are PvE. But, as I stated in previous videos, with how Arc works and the robots being so freaking overwhelming and powerful, you don't really want to be stupid around them. You have to actually think, and a lot of the times you have to work with your buddies and with random people who are in the environment with you. You can't just go and shoot on sight. Sometimes you have to actually work with one another to overcome the obstacles. You have to keep in mind, Arc Raiders started off as a PvE only type of game. There's no PvP included whatsoever, so the AI in this game is top freaking notch, which also helps it stand out from the rest of the crowd. So although yes, PC has a lot of, already established extraction shooters and also free-to-play alternatives, I think the quality of Arc Raiders will be enough to push this game heavily to PC players, on top of it being a little bit more casual friendly, to allow, people who aren't looking for a very over-the-top, realistic, version of an extraction shooter. If they want something a little bit more laid back and, again, casual friendly, this will be a perfect alternative for them. I think it will really pop off on PC. But then, as I stated, we have the console crowd here, who hasn't really been able to dabble in any extraction shooters. As I stated before, there's a couple. You have DMZ, which is in Modern Warfare 2 2022, which the majority of people who bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 wanted to play Call of Duty, so they didn't really dabble in DMZ, and DMZ wasn't that, awesome to begin with. And then, of course, you have Hunt Showdown, which is a great game, as I stated before. I'm not saying it's horrible, but it doesn't really give you the vibes that you're looking for when you were thinking of a game like Arena Breakout or Escape from Tarkov. So console players haven't really been able to dabble in any real, true extraction shooters. And Arc Raiders will be the first, and to be honest with you guys, I know a lot of people are worried that that is going to be enough of a reason for people to not cough up $40. But I'm telling you, I think the second gameplay starts coming out, and people start seeing people play this game and enjoying this game and seeing what it truly is all about, they're going to cough up cash and give it a go. Just like BR, it has to start somewhere. BR started off on PC as well, with a lot of the original BR experiences being PC exclusives. You couldn't play a Battle Royale unless you owned a PC. The same thing is kind of with, console. They haven't really been able to experience a really full-fledged out extraction shooter. And I'm going to be real with you guys. This might be a long shot, but I genuinely believe that Arc Raiders will be the game that will truly pop off the extraction shooter genre. That might be, like I said, a long shot, and I might be completely wrong. Who knows? But just like BR started off popular, just like, extraction shooters are on PC, but completely exploded when we started getting stuff like Fortnite and Apex and Blackout and all these other Battle Royale experiences that, again, transferred to console, allowing console players to be a part of the overall hype. And the same thing is going to happen here with extraction shooters, ladies and gentlemen. They popped off on PC, but they haven't popped off. They haven't been able to really tap into the console marketplace to combine both of them together. And here we are again with Arc Raiders. And this is going to be basically the first real extraction shooter for console players. And I think that this will be the game that will take this genre to a completely different level. And I know people are worried about the $40 price tag, but just like I stated when it comes down to the PC players, I think Arc Raiders is unique enough. It has a high enough quality to it, and I think it's going to be casual friendly enough that players will look at this and say, you know what, this is going to be the game that I want to play for 30 minutes to an hour after work or after a long, session at school, or when I'm completely exhausted, I can see myself playing some Arc Raiders, and that's exactly what you want. You want people to look at this and say, you know what, for no matter what playstyle that you're looking for, whether you want to be a PvP sweat, or if you want to just, go in solo and be stealthy and just kind of lurk around, or you want to try to, make new friends within the overall world of Arc Raiders and hunt down AI bots, the possibilities are endless, and I think that will truly push this above and beyond. But to answer everybody's, concerns, I don't think having a $40 price tag is going to hurt Arc Raiders whatsoever. The pre-order sales are already looking phenomenal for Steam and for console as well when it comes down to PlayStation. Not the best of it. It's not like, top 5 and, top 3 and stuff like that. But it's hanging in there and it's doing a very solid job, especially, as I stated, for the first extraction shooter that we've really seen on console. The fact that it is still top charts on PlayStation is very impressive. And honestly, if there's ever a team that I have more trust in, it's definitely Embark. They have been cooking for a hot minute now, even when it comes down to the finals. And I'll be real, the finals isn't a game that's completely up my lane, you know? But at the end of the day, I could still acknowledge how freaking awesome it is, how high quality it is as well. It's top notch, honestly. It performs and looks better than a lot of other AAA shooters out there, and how devoted and dedicated they are. Even when the finals hit a very low point, they worked and worked and worked and pushed that game back up to life. They are a very dedicated team, and they know what they're doing. They have a bunch of talented devs, ex-DICE devs, who worked on tons of the OG Battlefield games, the Star Wars Battlefront games as well. Like, they are GOATs. They know how to handle an overall experience, and I have full faith that they'll be able to push this game and get it to the next level. And again, as I stated, maybe even pop off the extraction shooter genre even more than what it was before. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here twice, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So, of course, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested, got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.